Hey guys, it's Inkeater, and welcome to VAM, Vinyl and Music News, where we talk about vinyl, music, and sometimes music news. Tonight, I actually wanted to talk about the cassette, or rather, I guess I want to say the CD in a little bit of a way. I recently was watching I guess like a documentary, or like just a video on nostalgia, and they were talking about music and how back in the day, you used to have to rewind a cassette with a pencil. For those of you who don't know, I'm kind of guessing from my demographic mostly. Most of you guys are my age or a little bit older, so we're going to kind of go with that baseline, but I'm also going to inform those who don't know. Essentially, sometimes when the tape came out of your cassette, you'd have to use a pencil to kind of wind it back in. And it's kind of one of those old school tricks that people nowadays, if you don't play the media, you really don't know. And it kind of got me thinking about, what was that media, whether it was a cassette or a CD, that you basically ran into the ground and had to literally go out and buy a second copy because that one song on that particular item no longer played. For me, that happens to be Chumbawamba's Tubthumping. I want to say it was the whole album. I want to say the album was called Tubthumping. Let's see, we have the phone, internet, let's find out. I think it's funny how we were talking about how spoiled we are, or did I even mention that we're really kind of spoiled with the fact that we can essentially look up things in the palm of our hand and find out answers about music that one would normally have to carry in their knowledge base. And that's how people talked, and it's kind of interesting how that's kind of evolved. Granted, there's a lot of cool websites out there where people discuss music. I rant. Let's find out the answer. Tubthumping, what was that particular album called, though? Oh wow, they've released some other albums. Well, in 2010, I don't have that album. And I don't have the 2008 album. That's interesting. Yeah, it was called Tubthumping. And it featured that really crazy looking baby. Let's see if we can get a close-up of that picture. That album right there. See if you focus on that green. Ain't that a pretty green? It's probably one of my favorite colors. That's a creepy-ass baby. I forgot how creepy that album cover was. Or rather, I never realized. Anyway, so that album happened to be one of those albums that I just thoroughly freaking enjoyed. I went on to enjoy their album Un, and then What You See Is What You Get. It seems like they don't have the Un album here, which is kind of interesting. Maybe that was just kind of something out there. I recall that album, though. Anyway, I rant. But it kind of got me thinking, I remember having, basically, I don't remember what song in particular it was. I know it was a cross between the Tubthumping song, the really popular hit, and a few of the singles on there. Specifically, I have my phone in my hand, why don't I do this? Specifically, I would say The Good Ship Lifestyle, Drip Drip Drip, pretty much the whole album's pretty freaking amazing. Mary Mary's pretty good. Scapegoat. I love the whole album. It's probably one of my absolute favorite albums. If I were to sit there and say, this is an album that I would love to have in the afterlife, yes, that would be one. Anyway, but I still distinctly remember having to basically go out and buy another CD of it because I ruined the first CD by playing it way, way, way too much. And then I learned the awesomeness that is the MP3 and burning CDs, which kind of solved my problems for a very, very long time. Anyway, let me know down in the comments below, what is a CD, what is a cassette that you basically ran into the ground and had to go out and buy another one. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing awesome. And if you missed out last week, we talked about Van's Warped Tour, Godsmack coming out with a new single, along with 3 Days Grace. If you're into that, I will leave a link somewhere. And if not, no worries. I hope you guys are doing awesome. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.
Whatever it is that you believe you're seeing, it's not real.
Seeing things before they happen. Things are not always what they seem in this place. So you can't take anything for granted.